Who's the oldest? How long?
1 minute.
So do you pull the older brother card on her still?
Every day of her life.
He doesn't act like it, but the legal way.
Yeah, but it's on paper, so therefore it's true. So.
Okay.
They were low maintenance. You know, they got along pretty good with each other, and as they got a little bit older, they kind of, got to doing their own thing.
When we were in Little League Baseball, we were the San Francisco Giants of College Station.
And I coached Little League Baseball, and Logan was the pitcher and Blair was the catcher.
It was funny because Blair played one softball game, and she hated it because she was like, it's too much drama, I can't do that. So she was like, Dad, let me play baseball. And he was like, okay.
Blair was the only one that could catch it as the catcher, and Logan pitched, and so.
She goes out there and tries out, and turns out she's the best catcher we got. So I was the pitcher, and she was the catcher, and we were the best Little League team for 2 years in College Station.
That was fun for me to coach them in Little League Baseball. Baseball has always been a passion of mine, and so that was fun.
It was all I really knew. Everybody always said, you need to play softball, you'd be a really good softball player. And my dad took me to pitching lessons and everything to try and make me love it, and I was just like, I don't like it. He was a really hard baseball coach. Really tough. Like, I remember I would cry after I would strike out just because I felt so bad. Every time I'd strike out,
I'd be over there, Blair, it's okay, you're on the guys' team.
I'd just start crying. He's like, there's no crying in baseball. My dad recruited me. He offered me when I was a freshman in high school. That's how early he offered me.
To go to A&M.
To go to A&M.
I just watched the kid. I know how competitive she is.
As I progressed throughout high school, I started realizing that other schools wanted me, and just going through the recruiting process was cool.
I've just seen her do a lot of things, and if you're going to play at this level, you better have some toughness to you. I mean, it's great that she's got a jump shot and all that, but you better have some toughness and competitive fire, and she certainly got all of that. She's got it in the classroom as well.
It came down to the fact that I wanted to play for my dad, and I didn't want to go away from family.
I think it's awesome, and even her playing for dad, I think that's cool. She gets to say she played for mom and dad throughout her life.
At home, he's also like, I miss you so much. I never see my daughter. I always see my player, but I never see my daughter. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, when we come to the house, I'll kid her and say, well, how was practice today, And
I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you were there. You were there, like, And I'm like, Mom, can you just stop him?
How's coach doing, Or, had a tough loss the other night, how's coach today? Something like that.
After one game, I texted him, and I was like, thanks for giving me a chance tonight, Coach.
I texted her back, I said, hey, way to take advantage of your opportunity. Made a big 3. Good job, freshman.
Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday or whatever, I get to come watch my sister play basketball, and she gets to come in and make a 3, and I get to go crazy about it, and it's just awesome knowing that, that's my sister out there. That's really cool.
That changed. I think it changed me in a lot of areas.
Just the thought of from where that year started to the way it ended was just incredible. It was awesome.
Monday morning, Logan had signed up for Die Hard wakeboarding, and that's 6 a.m. wakeboarding. They take a small groups of 6 or 7 kids out because it's smooth as glass, and so that's what he loved to do. And
I threw my first run, and I did a few warm-up tricks, kind of got into it, getting stretched out. And then my second run, I threw a backside 180 melon grab, which is it's not that crazy of a trick. It sounds crazy, but I've done it 100 times. But the way I landed backwards, and when you land backwards, I usually am strong enough to pull myself back straight, but that time I wasn't, because the way I landed, the water caught the board the wrong way, and it threw me backwards, and I had whiplash. I just thought it was a bad headache at first, so I went ahead and I was like, yeah, I'm ready for my next run. And that next run, I got up, and I started to feel my heartbeat in my head, and that's when I knew something was wrong, because I was, not supposed to do that. And I just dropped the rope, and they're like, Logan, you never dropped the rope, what's wrong? And I was like, guys, something's wrong, I got to get back to the dock. And after that, I don't remember too much, honestly.
Well, it was July 12th, and I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio with Blair at 1400 AAU National Championships, and get a phone call at 8:35 in the morning from a emergency room doctor in Crockett, Texas, and it's a little bitty Class 2A town in East Texas, and he says, Coach, your son's just been brought in. He's unconscious, unresponsive, and seizing.
He's like, we have to go back to we have to go back to Texas.
I was writing my check to take the bus driving test, and my cell phone rings, and it comes up Frontier Camp. And I looked at my phone, and I looked at the lady, and she pointed to the sign, you know, no cell phone. I said, I understand that. I said, I'm gonna have to get out of line. I said, something's wrong. I said, this is from Frontier Camp. I said, my son's there.
Your brother is it was just in a wakeboarding accident.
We walked in to see Dr. Graham, and the first thing he said was, statistics are not in his favor. He goes, the only thing worse than the state that your son is in is being dead. That's what he told me.
At that point in time, like, we were inseparable, and it was so hard to know, like, my other half is probably not gonna make it. And because that's what they said, like, we can't guarantee that he's gonna have a quality of life.
Is he alive? Is he alive?
Once he woke up, he had the surgery. His brain had moved back to center. It had been moved off center because of the ruptured blood vessel that pushed his brain off center with all the blood coagulating on one side. Hundreds of blood vessels in your brain, and he gets lucky enough to find the one that he's bleeding from, so he was able to fix that. Two, he got the blood off of his brain for the most part. I could never get anything else out of him other than, as we moved along, they kept telling me, you know, Coach, I think in a year this will all be a bad dream for you.
The doctors basically said that, you know, with brain injuries, you never know. With traumatic brain injuries, TBIs, you never know. Just because the brain is such a crazy organ in the body, and it can fix itself really fast, or it can take almost a lifetime. And the doctors said that it was going to take 6 months to 2 years at least, just because of the amount of blood damage on the brain.
He had to go through physical therapy, like, yeah, and musical therapy, and just everything. Learn how to eat again, walk again, talk again, go to the bathroom, just everything, like as if he was an infant again.
The rehab was awful, because you have a son who is full of life and energy, and every sport does everything, and is a part of all of that, to relearning everything.
We take him to the gym, and in the corner of the gym is 14 steps that lead up to nothing. They just go up and they come down. We take him down there and we put him at the bottom of the stairs. And it takes us 10 to 15 minutes to walk up that flight of stairs with Logan. He's got his hand on the rail, I'm in front of him, this guy's behind him, and I'm telling you, I don't know that I've ever coached my butt off any harder. And he gets up to the top of those steps, and man, I'm fired up, and I'm clapping, and you know, just so excited. And we get to the top, and his old head's just barely hanging on his shoulders, and I'm just so excited. And I said, man, look what you just did. And you know, he looks down, and he just kind of peers over his shoulder, and his old head's down, and he kind of looks up at me through the top of his eyebrows, and he goes, now what?
I was in ICU for 11 days. I was in rehab, Timber Memorial Herman Rehab Facility for 28. On the 39th day of everything, I walked home unassisted.
And he couldn't walk, couldn't talk, couldn't hold a fork in his right hand, drooling down the left side of his mouth when we got there.
Seeing him beat the odds was really amazing, because I was worried at first, especially when I was feeding him ice cream in the rehab facility. It was really scary.
He became a light for everybody in that gym, because he went from being wheeled in there to walking in there like that.
And Texas A&M is the 2011 champion.
You know, to go from what we went through, almost losing our son, 9 months later, we win a national championship. I mean, that's a pretty big one end of the spectrum to the other, you know. And, you know, you just, like I said, that changed, I think it changed me in a lot of areas. And you know, it was a pretty emotional time, to be honest with you. When the horn went off, you know, there's a pretty good picture of me somewhere on my knees.
Just the thought of like from where that year started to the way it ended was just like incredible. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's, you know, again, it's, we're just really blessed. You know, it just, I don't know. You know, I tell him all the time, God's got you here for a reason, and you know, it just wasn't your time. And again, it's he's a miracle. He's my miracle. And there's no doubt about it. He is absolutely my miracle.